everybody. I want to today talk about the actual plan review process and what's going to take place once you come in through our doors and submit. So you'll come in and submit your plans. Obviously, you're for your new house or for your addition or whatever. Let's say a new house. Most of you are new house builders. You'll submit your plans. They'll go through. I'll use this. Is this better? Is this on? It can be.
There it is.
There we go. Can you hear me better now? Okay. So you'll submit your plans. We'll check it for completeness based off of our checklist there. And if it's complete, then we'll start the review. Our self-imposed 2-week turnaround starts at that time once it's complete. And then you'll get a call from our permit staff saying, your plans are complete, come pick them up, and then you can start building and getting your inspections, and then everything's great. We'll check them for completeness. If they're not complete or if something is deficient during the actual review, then we'll contact you. You will then make the corrections and then send them back to us. We'll continue on with the review. Hopefully it's just a one-time thing and we can get them done. It's easy as pie, pretty easy. Oh, and I also want to say that at the same time this is going on, you'll be dealing with current planning. They have to approve all your site plans and everything before we can issue your permit. So in certain areas of the county, there are very strict facade standards that have to be met. So we, on the building side, don't have anything to do with that part. We're just basic physics of the structure and life safety. The current planning portion, that has to be approved. Your site plan has to be approved, the facades, the elevations of your plans, before we can issue you your plans on there. So the checklist over here is super important to us. Everything on here is required for a new plan, and it's very basic, very easy to follow. If anything is missing off of here, then we're going to let you know that we can't continue with your review until we have it. So if you have any questions of any of the items required on here, we'll let you know what it is that we need and why it's required. Certain things won't apply to your project. For example, a grading permit. You know, if you're in a subdivision, you probably don't need a new grading permit for your driveway, something that's already handled in the overall grading permit. Or if you are in the rural area, you might need firefighting water supply. We'll check for that. That's something that might come up during your review. But all of these items on here they pretty much all have to be met to get your review going in the first place. So if you have any questions at any time, you may always call us, and we're happy to meet with you or talk to you on the phone or anything that you have any questions on this, because it helps you get through your review so much easier if you know what's expected ahead of time. This is also on our website, on our webpage. I think it's on our webpage, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, with that, I'm going to hand this over to Jeremy Williams. He's our supervisor in the plan review area. He's our structural plans examiner. Jeremy Williams.
Thanks, Yvette. Good morning, everyone. So, one thing to note is our residential plan review group, we have a high volume of projects coming in every week, 60 plus a week right now. We're currently staffed with 4 residential plans examiners. We have 2 vacancies right now that we're currently filling. And we have 3 engineers that do structural plan review. Our 3 engineers are myself, Kofi Nelson, most of you know, and Gary Nielsen. Gary Nielsen's our commercial supervisor of the commercial plan review group, and Kofi's the supervisor of the grading portion. So with this fast-paced, high volume in the residential plan review, group, we're constantly looking at ways to continually improve and streamline process. Some of the things with plan review is we're trying to do solve problems over the phone. If we see an issue during the plan review, if it's very minor in nature and we could redline with approval from the designer or the engineer, we'll do that first. Just do a phone call, try to get it resolved right away. And then the next step, if it's a little more complicated, we'll send a formal email listing everything specific and go through that route and wait for a response. We're meeting regularly as a group to talk about lessons learned every week, ways of improving our processes, and stressing the importance of continually providing open, honest, and effective communication. We've been asking for input from the design community about ways to help streamline the process and make things go quicker. We know how valuable your time is on every project. And just to reiterate what Hank and Andy said, our primary focus is just to make sure we meet minimum code provision, no more, no less. Specific to the engineering, the structural engineering plan review, we have a residential engineering design submittal checklist on our website. I also brought some copies that are in the back. Those go through and help the engineering staff that's doing the design know exactly what we're looking for. It's not a requirement, it's just a recommendation to help the process. The structural design narrative is pretty much the most one of the most important things we look up right up front, making sure the proper codes, current codes are used, that the scope of the design is clear, whether it's complete lateral design and gravity loads or just gravity or partial engineered and partial prescriptive. We're looking for all the design criteria used: dead loads, floor live loads, wind loads, snow loads, seismic loads. And then load path is critical, gravity and lateral load path. We have to have a complete story in the plans showing how loads are resisted from the roof down to the foundation. Some of the big typical issues that slow us down a little bit. Plans and calculations not stamped or signed. We just can't even start the process really until we get a package that we know has been engineered when it needs to be for code. Outdated codes used for design, we can't review anything where the wrong codes are used, so we have to stop the process. And when I say stop the process, that's basically an incomplete right at this point, and we wait until we get the complete submittal, which could take however long it takes for you to get the plans back in, and then it goes back through the normal queue cycle. So this, I mean, it really could delay things when it shouldn't have to. Some things we've been seeing that we're trying to raise awareness with in the engineering is wind uplift on girder trusses. Some of these homes have long span trusses that are supported on girder trusses due to jogs in the exterior walls, and we've seen that truss uplift on a large percentage of the projects hasn't been addressed. So we're commenting on that frequently, but we have seen recently that has helped. We've seen improvements in the plans that are being submitted. Something to note on trusses and girder trusses, the connections from those back to the structure is the engineer's responsibility, not the truss manufacturer. That's per code. The irregular floor diaphragms, some of these custom homes with large vaulted spaces creates very irregular shapes in the floor diaphragms. We've seen a lot where the plans come in and it's a real basic lateral design down, but the floor diaphragm hasn't been addressed. So that's another thing we're trying to raise awareness. And then also those vaulted spaces create tall walls, tall columns, out of plane wind design has been an issue. So that's one last thing we're trying to raise awareness on. So thank you. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Steve.